Hi, Tamsin. You know, for decades, Muhammad Ali never had any issues in drawing a big crowd. So it is almost fitting that here we are, less than 24 hours away from his funeral, and we find a huge crowd in front of his boyhood home. For it is here where it all began more than 70 years ago.
No matter where you come from, no matter what color or race you are, if you put your mind to it and you set out to do it, you can accomplish it.
For the man who accomplished what no other man has ever done, it all originated here. This humble pink house at 3302 Grand Avenue in Louisville, Kentucky. For this is where dreams were created. This is where the foundation of a legend was set. This is where a young man named Cassius blossomed years before he became Muhammad.
In the Sandlot, yeah.
James Luke Evans grew up along the block with a then Cassius and crossed paths with him in, yes, the Sandlot. He remembers the young Louisville lip prognosticating his future.
It's amazing because he could talk it when he was a kid. He said he was going to be a world champ. He sure did.
But throughout it all, the world's most recognizable figure never forgot Louisville.
I met the champ.
Altafe Bailey remembers her chance encounter with Ali in the mid-'80s. She was alone one day, doing challenging yard work under a blistering Kentucky sun. In an instant, her work turned to play.
I was just working real hard, and someone called and they said, "Hey lady," and I looked up and it was Muhammad Ali, and I said, "Yeah, champ," and he said, "Where's your husband?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, you tell him something for me." And I said, "Well, what do you want me to tell him?" And he said, "You tell him that I'm gonna beat him up." I said, "I will certainly tell him that." And
for those who met him, it was like catching lightning in a bottle. For those who never did, he still had enough energy to draw them to his home this week. Tariq Squire, out of the Bronx, drove all night to be here this morning. You're 33.
Yes.
You never saw him fight,
Never.
but yet you're here.
Yes.
What does that say?
Paying respect to a great one.
His friend, Rico Davis, knew this was the trek of a lifetime, one he had to make.
I just knew, I had to come pay my respects.
Even if it meant driving from Harlem overnight.
Yes, it did. It was important.
Amidst the young and old who came to pay their respects, there were also unselfish acts of sacrifice.
We were going to go to Crete, but changed it, came here instead, more important.
Francis Bishop of England found himself here at his daughter's urging. It was their way of getting closer to the man they appreciated from afar.
No personal connection, just admiration for a great man.
For Francis, a firefighter, it was Ali's courage in and out of the ring that was a testament to the man he was.
It was always slightly different and was very important to us when we were young. We used to be allowed to stay up and watch his fights when we were 5, 6, 7. And there was always something about him. And he's brave. Brave, not just physically, but obviously for his views and sticking to his views.
For you to share this moment with your daughter.
Lovely.
It was truly a lovely moment, no doubt about it, to see them, but at the same time know that they're not the only ones. There will be hundreds, if not thousands more, who have never crossed paths with Muhammad Ali, who will be here tomorrow in Louisville, Kentucky. Reporting live from the boyhood home of Muhammad Ali, Mario Diaz, Pix 11 News.
So many people touching, so many stories out there that we're going to continue to hear through the years. Mario, let me ask you a question tonight. What is the mood there in Louisville right now?
You know, Tamsin, that's a fair question because you'd expect that many people would obviously be very upset, very sad. It's quite a different scenario here. This is being viewed as a celebration of life. They want to send off the champ with integrity, with respect, and you talk to everyone around here, they're smiling. Remember the one that they called their own. Tamsin?
Pix 11's Mario Diaz is in Louisville, Kentucky tonight with that story. Hi, Mario.
Hi, Tamsin. You know, there's no doubt that Muhammad Ali touched millions of people across the globe. Within that group, which is a wide, huge group, of course, but he did touch all those people, there was an inner circle that actually got to know him personally. And within that inner circle, there's just a handful of people that can say they have known him since he grew up inside of that house. Today, I caught up with one of them, Lawrence Montgomery.
Muhammad is this. Muhammad, he was the greatest.
Lawrence Montgomery first crossed paths with greatness 71 years ago. Back then, he was only 11. And as for Cassius Clay, he was still battling diapers.
I guess he was about 3 years old. He used to run up and down the street here on Grand Avenue.
Montgomery was Ali's next-door neighbor. This morning, as we looked at Ali's childhood home, he vividly recalled the exhausting work ethic that Ali displayed at a young age.
He would run down to a local park, which we called Chickasaw Park, and he would run back home. This was before he went to school.
Before the world saw the mesmerizing speed of Ali as a heavyweight, Ali gave Montgomery a preview of what was to come. At the time, he was not even close to being a flyweight, which is 108 pounds in boxing terms. But in Ali's mind, he knew he would become much more.
He told me one time, said, "Lawrence, I'm going to be the heavyweight champion of the world." I said, "Boy, you must be out of your mind. There's no way." He was real small at the time, you know. And I said, "You have to be a heavy to be a heavyweight."
Shocking as it may seem, Montgomery did not see many of Ali's fights in person. In fact, only one, against Jerry Quarry in Atlanta. But what he remembers most from that weekend is not the fight, but rather the weigh-in the day before, and what his old neighbor did after Montgomery captured Ali's attention by calling the champ by his first nickname, Gigi, which stood for Golden Gloves.
He turned around, he heard me. He turned around and he quietened the whole crowd. He said, "Y'all be quiet. This is my friend, my next door neighbor from Louisville, Kentucky. He lived at 3,300 grand, and I lived at 3,302 grand. Said, I want y'all to meet my neighbor, Lawrence Montgomery."
Ali liked sharing his experiences with his friends, whether it was in the boxing or the political ring, and he took a great pleasure in personalizing it. Ali once took Montgomery and his wife to Washington, D.C. to meet President Jimmy Carter, and over lunch in the cafeteria of the U.S. Senate, he scripted poetry for Montgomery's wife. The most memorable line:
"The man who views the world as 50, the same as he did at 20, has wasted 30 years of his life."
Simple, yet eloquently stated, written on the menu of the U.S. Senate cafeteria. That was Ali, genuine, yet caring, no matter the surroundings. It was a passion he learned along a tiny stretch of Grand Avenue, and it is a passion that never left him.
Love this neighborhood.
He loves the world.
Yes, sir, sure did. That's true.
As you turn around here and you look at this house,
Sure.
and you think about the man that emerged from that home to where he's at today. I see a tear going down your cheek. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Well, he's just a great, great friend of mine, and I have a lot of good memories from him. It's just overwhelming that he is passed.
There is no doubt that Montgomery had mixed emotions with the passing of his good friend. It's understandable. It was, after all, his friend of more than 70 years. What was intriguing, though, was that when he passed along to me this simple fact, he said, "My friend is no longer suffering, and for that, I am happy, because once again, Muhammad Ali gets to run freely." Reported live from Louisville, Mario Diaz, Pix 11 News.
Mario, before you go, you have seen Ali draw crowds, that's for sure. How has today struck you out there, seeing the activity there behind you?
Tamsen, I have seen Muhammad Ali draw crowds ringside in Las Vegas. I have seen him silence crowds inside of jam-packed restaurants with whispers of admiration. This morning, my photographer Kenny Pelzer and I showed up here at this home, and there was already a small crowd developing. This steady stream of traffic has been here since about 7:45 this morning. It is anticipated to be here for most of the evening, but you will not see this tomorrow, because tomorrow is when this city says goodbye to its native son, and this will be completely shut down as Muhammad Ali comes through here in his procession to say so long to what was his neighborhood. Tamsen?
Yeah. Thank you.
And we're hearing people going to be just lining the streets.
Oh, yeah.
Suki and Scott, one time I was in Ali's bedroom in Arizona. You'll appreciate this, George. In 2009, and I was with a friend who invited me to his home. We had dinner at his house that evening. We went back. Lonnie and I sat on the couch there in the living room with our good friend, and we were all chatting. And Lonnie, at the end of the night, says, "Hey, you guys want to say goodnight to Muhammad?" and we were just sitting there saying, "I thought he was in bed already and he was asleep." She's like, "No, come back and say goodnight to Muhammad." We went in. He was watching television. He had his white t-shirt on. He was tucked into bed. We were able to do a little bit of tucking. We grabbed him. We looked at him. We said, "Muhammad, thank you so much." And all I saw back was much love and appreciation, and perhaps two of the most beautiful eyes anybody can possibly see.
That's a wonderful story.
George, thank you so much. We'll appreciate it. Bye-bye. Suki, Scott, obviously this is a day of memories, a day of storytelling. Muhammad Ali will be coming through here at about 9:45, and just over an hour from now, that procession to his final resting stop. Back to you guys.
One of the lucky ones who got to be in his presence, Mario, one of the lucky ones.
All of those tributes, and he has a look at what happened today.
When Muhammad Ali captured the gold 56 years ago at the Olympics, he took the world by storm. Now, in the past week, we have seen him capture the world's attention once again. Although he is gone, he's not mourned. His life has been celebrated. And it all came to a culmination today here in Louisville.
Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see.
It was a poetic morning at 3302 Grand Avenue in the West End of Louisville. It was also a fashionable one. The imagery, as well as the narrative, making it quite clear that today was about one man, the legend who called this neighborhood home, the one with the name that will stand the test of time. Ali, Ali, Ali. At approximately high noon, Muhammad Ali, in the midst of a nearly 20 miles long procession throughout Louisville that resembled a presidential caravan, returned to his family's residence for a final time. The champ was home. To think that a boy named Cassius came from this humble 1,100 square foot residence and ultimately returned as a history maker like none before. His name, Muhammad. As Ali's hearse rolled away, a sign in the traditional black and white combination that the champ wore in the ring read, "He's still pretty." And as the rest of the caravan made its way through with friends and family members like Layla Ali waving to the crowd in appreciation, there were others like AJ Haynes who watched and reflected on Ali afterwards, even though AJ was born nearly 25 years after Ali's final fight.
I know that he invented trash talk.
Haynes may have never seen Ali fight in person or one of his flamboyant interviews on live TV, but he understands what Ali achieved. What does it say to a 13-year-old boy in Louisville? The man who came from that house influenced the world and became a global ambassador.
That he had to put in a lot of hard work to achieve his goal, and that he probably got tore down, but he got right back up.
You learned a lesson from all this today?
Yes, I did.
You think you'll ever forget this day?
No, not at all.
And neither will a city that celebrated Ali's life this week. At a memorial service at the KFC Yum Center, a crowd consisting of artists, athletes, politicians, and the everyday man from across the globe and Louisville came together to reflect upon Ali's body of work in and out of the ring.
In the end, besides being a lot of fun to be around and basically a universal soldier for our common humanity, I will always think of Muhammad as a truly free man of faith.
All of this for a man who came from this tiny home along Grand Avenue. George Paquetto purchased the residence in 2012 to preserve it for the Ali family. He paid $75,000. Today, it is priceless.
There's no price tag. It's not for sale. We developed this as a ongoing testament and legacy to Muhammad Ali, and we just hope people come and experience it and understand how the man grew up, how as a youngster his feelings and convictions and spirit developed. And that's what this house is all about, and it's not for sale.
Ali's final resting spot will be here in Louisville at the Cave Hill Cemetery. His parents are buried nearby in the cemetery as well. He is gone. He will never be forgotten, for he was and always will be the greatest. In Louisville, Mario Diaz, Pix 11 News.